Well, today is January 31st. I finally got my package in today, and you're currently looking at it. I said I was going to get it in. I've kept this as far away from me as possible. This isn't going to be with me longer than a few hours. This is what I'm talking about. These are blueprints, patents, and all kinds of other stuff. I don't have a tripod here, and I'm kind of schmucking it out, so you have to brace with me here for a second while I unfold things. What I've been trying to do is get everything together. Now, these are some of the early prototypes that I worked on. They're all done on computer. They are what they are. They run on standard diabetic needles. These are just a few of the designs that I have. Multiple. This is a shading needle. This is another variation of the same gun. This end here is all disposable, including the needle. Okay. This is the motor pack. There's your connectors. That's your drive trink. That's what drives this whole system. These are the actual machine blueprints. These are for the design. Like I say, there are several copies of this technology. A part of me wants to set this phone down to show you more of the equipment. This is some of the original prototype equipment. Okay. And some of it we don't necessarily need to see anything more than what you're getting a view on. But there's the pieces, how it lays together. Runs on a standard diabetic needle. All of the designs I use have that. Part of the reason is the diabetic syringe is the most common needle size in the world. 1cc needles are everywhere. So these are easy to come by. These are all of the variations on the tattoo gun. I've got over 200 tattoo guns designed up, and they'll do all kinds of funky things. I've basically stashed everything. Now, I believe this is some of the hardware. This is some of the other designs. This is the one I'm running with primarily right now. As you can see, similar concept, but it's more fluent in design. I've also set them up to be used in agriculture, so that means like tattooing livestock, veterinarian uses, such as that. This one here, the design purposes, it runs on a 9-volt battery. Yes, these things have been through hell and back, these blueprints. But they had to come across 5 provinces to get here. I don't keep anything too close to hand. Now, this is much of the same as I've shown before. These are all now digitized, and they're in a encrypted program. I've made sure that things were encrypted. Part of the reason why I'm revealing this is because I've held on to this stuff since August of 2020, or 2000. So these are good 20 years old. But the technology is more relevant now than it was before. This is a little box of goodies, some spare parts, gloves. And this is one of the guns. This is 3D printed, if I'm not mistaken. If I put a fresh battery on there, it should go. But the basic principle This would sell like that. It's a rotary offset that runs this thing. Okay. This one's been through hell and back. But it's 3D printed. And if you can tell, there's a needle sticking out. It's designed that you go down on something. It's done piles and piles of work. Now this is a livestock unit. Now what do I mean by a livestock unit? Well, it's primarily set up to do two things. If I cut this gun in half, this part here is got the motor here and the needle. This back part I can cut off. All it is a housing for the tattoo gun. You can stand it up like this. And it's designed to do that. This is not like your normal tattoo gun. As you can see, it's standing up and it's on a bed. So you imagine how sturdy this thing actually is. The original ones were made out of metal, CNC'd. This is 3D printed. It's got the air holes in it, the back end. This one's been through hell and back. It's done all kinds of stuff. But there's several of them, and I have the 3D files to print them off. What people have to realize is this technology is here. And this technology here can also be hooked up onto a computer printer. A 2-axis printer was originally used, and that's how we were doing barcodes and stuff. But the thing is, when you cut this back end off, this becomes the print head. A dot is a dot is a dot. That's all a computer knows, is a pixel. And that's all a tattoo is a pixel. So therefore, here is your system. The government, there are several systems out there that are way more refined than this. This is a prototype. This is now being manufactured on 3D printer. I can send out anywhere in the world, and I can have these copies made off of 3D printer. You got a 3D printer, I got a tattoo gun. I can actually make these things out of turkey basters. Same principle, does the same thing, works just as well. That's the technology. But you can also do what they call RF tattooing. Because if you use two different metals in the skin, it forms a circuit and it can transmit. But now we figured out how to make it two-way. So this is what's going on right now. And we're going to see lots of that in the next little while come down. But because of recent things that are going on, this is what's going to happen. I've tried to keep things to a point that most people would understand. What I'm going to do here is I got another package coming in with the rest of the equipment. This is being shown because it's older technology, but it's still relevant. They're still using the hollow needle technology for doing this because you can put nanoparticle tattoo ink in. This is a thing, and it's been around for about 20 years. Most people don't realize that a lot of this equipment has been around for decades. Uses a standard 1cc needle, but you don't have to dip it. You fill the syringe up with ink and go. I may get this thing up and running and do a video of it actually tattooing. I'm not going to use anybody because people will whine and snivel and this and that. So what I'm going to use is a piece of leather hide to show you exactly what this does. And this has no problem tattooing into leather hide. So human skin is nothing. This thing plows through it. It can do a 20-foot line non-stop without dipping. That's unheard of for a tattoo gun. Now, we have to make some decisions here in the next little while, me and a few other people. This is a registered product. It's known as Dermapen. And it's called Mark II. And there are people are going, well, how come it isn't out? Part of the reason, I was going to have a company built around it and stuff. Part of the reason is trying to secure funding for medical products. Because of that, it gets very expensive. FDA approval, Canadian health approval, this, that, and everybody. You got to have a lot of money to throw out something like this. I don't. But what has happened is now these files have been handed over to a handful of other corporations, and they haven't. I get a royalty sent to me, this, that, and the other thing. A lot of time is taken in trade for other technology. So people have to understand that this is going to happen. With the SARS disease and everything else that's going on, this respiratory stuff, we can put chips into people, and they wouldn't even know they have it. We use ultraviolet inks with different frequencies. Basic physics is being used here. Nothing revolutionary, really. It's all electric motor. It's been out there. Diabetic needle has been around for 100 years. Everything here can be pulled off the shelves. Nothing here is a radical design or concept. You can walk into a dollar store and pretty much find all the pieces you need to make one of these tattoo guns. So it's not remarkably hard to do such. I'm hopeful here in the next little while I'll be getting the rest of the stuff in. One of the books that I have, it's gotten me in a lot of trouble. I've had people try to steal it. I've had break-ins and stuff, hence the reason why I stashed this stuff about 4 or 5 provinces away from me. You're not likely to go track it down where I've got it. And the people that hang on to it, they do it out of loyalty. They know enough to know that I'm keeping it at a distance because I'm being watched. This will not be out long. This will be packed up after I'm done, and it'll be sent away. It'll go back to where I've been stashing it, and it's going to stay there for a very long time. Part of the reason that this is hidden is because of all the other stuff that's hidden. And it should be with it. And it should be reunited with the rest of the stuff. I've tried before to explain to people, but this technology is here. It does exist. You're looking at it. It's nothing more than a needle going up and down at a certain RPM. Nothing new here. People build these guns in jails and stuff. This is fairly straightforward. But the technology of using a hollow needle, that's new in the tattoo world. Revolutionary, actually, because you don't have to dip it. So that is where I'm coming at. Like I say, I've made this up with just a box of junk. Like just cheapskate motors, and there's little caps to put on the back there, and those are standard syringe caps. Nothing here is revolutionary. But people are going to have to understand that this technology exists, and it's going to be around, and copies will be sent out. There are people that have been making requests for this. As you can see, this is what you're looking at. It's that simple. It's that safe. There's like a body, a motor, a battery, a cam that makes it go up and down. There's about 4 or 5 pieces to this thing. That's about it. So, simplicity is elegance. And that's what we have here. Now, I don't want to get over dramatic about it. I've been dealing with this for the last little while. I've had individuals try to approach me. They want to know proprietary things. They've tried to figure out what I know. Problem is, it took me a long time to figure out what I know. And they want it overnight. They want it instantly. No, they're going to have to work for it. Because if they knew what I did, then things would speed up dramatically. We wouldn't have cryptocurrency. We wouldn't have anything. This technology would be employed. The nanotechnology and the ultraviolet spectrum range, you'll never see the tattoo. Your doctor could have this administered to you while you're sleeping. You would never know. You wouldn't feel it. Numbing agents can be put into the ink, all kinds of stuff. This may even already be out. I'm not even sure. But if I can figure it out, they can figure it out. And I'm no rocket scientist, by no means. I mean, at best, I'm just a crazed artist. Right? You're looking at some of my artwork. There's my art supplies. There's more. There's my TV. But you have to understand that these times, things are happening. And I've tried to be calm. I've tried to be deliberate. I want people to understand that apparently I have the keys to the gates of hell. And people want them. Whoever runs this system runs the world. I'm trying not to be overdramatic, but the Bible guys figure this is part of the way. I've had churches, I've had people who found out years ago when I was developing this, they were showing up to my house, praying for me, praying for my deliverance. But, thank you for everything, and I'll talk to you later. I'm out, and I'll be coming back shortly with more. Thank you.